Y'all be killing me with this all of a sudden this Jay-Z slander because of this NFL deal. First of all, man, it could be a selfish play, a money play for him, but to me, he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the negative attention. I think it's something bigger than we think, and day by day, we're starting to learn more. But to me, you got to reserve judgment, man, until we really find out what's going on. We know the NFL is a racist institution, a broken institution, and we have someone that has a seat at the table now. Like, nothing has ever been fixed from the outside. Some people say, well, he's bigger than having to join them. That's a powerful, the NFL is very powerful. So unless you have somebody on the inside, there's no way shit's gonna get done. Who better to have on the inside than Jay? But like I said, this could have been a money play. And if it was, I'll be the first one to say I was completely wrong. But I just, knowing him and knowing what he's about, I don't see him selling out for some money. Especially he don't really need it, man. He got a shitload of money already. So I'm just gonna sit back, reserve judgment, and wait to see what happens. Everyone is quick to want to belong to something. It's fuck Jay-Z, so everyone wants to fuck Jay-Z now instead of waiting to figure out what the fuck is really going on. And then the other thing that trips me out is the Eric Reed character. Nigga, you got a settlement from the NFL, and you got a new contract from the NFL, but you still out here talking bad about Jay, and you're playing in the league that's blackballed your man. We all know Cat's been blackballed. It's fucked up. He definitely should have a spot on the team, but bro, you out here collecting checks from this same league that blackballed your man, and then want to get mad at Jay for trying to make a difference. I don't think Jay is by any means saying Cap and his stance and what he stands for, I'm gonna get this money. I think, like you said, he's furthering the conversation. Taking a knee only did so much. What's next? I think that's what Jay's on, man. But that's just my piece. Take it or leave it.
What's up, y'all? Here eating my little breakfast, But I want to talk about a situation involving Colin Kaepernick and his and Jay-Z, because Jay-Z just signed a partnership with the NFL, I believe, and that's the only reason I know who Colin Kaepernick is. To be honest with you, it might be funny, but I never paid any attention. But Jay-Z's, he's from Bedford Stuyvesant, just like I am. And I just said, okay, let me give it a look and decide what it's all about. So my first time finding out who Colin Kaepernick was today. So, he is he's an NFL player, and he's known for taking a knee during the stand, to stand up against protest and, not protest, but to stand up against racial injustice or injustice in general, police brutality, etc., and so on and so forth. He is biracial. His mother's white and his father's black. And I felt that in order to understand a person in general, you gotta, in order to understand a person's actions, like taking a knee on the football field, you gotta understand where they came from and what's the reason behind why they're doing what they're doing. So I had to do my homework. I had to go to square one, and I found out that his mother, like I said, his mother is black. His mother is white, and his father is black. His mother took care of him. His father left. Then his mother sent him to adoption home. He got adopted by a white family. He had siblings. Both of them were white. So in my mind, I was already, because Kaepernick is not too vocal on the reason why he's taking the knee. A lot of people are saying, okay, a lot of people are building a conclusion based on something that is not said by him in general. I looked up a few videos, I read a few articles, and it's nothing that gives a definitive answer on why Kaepernick takes a knee. It makes sense because, police brutality and all that all those things are prominent, especially in this day and age, and for a long time now, so that makes sense. But again, like I said, I was trying to understand him, and being that he was when you don't understand something from a person and you can only piece together what it could be and what it could not be, that's what I did, because I really never heard him speak too much about the situation on why he's taking the knee. His it's straightforward, but at the end of the day, dialogue is what brings the conversation to another level. You know what I'm saying? Dialogue, conversation, reflection of a dialogue, of a conversation, and coming to understand of how the situation could be fixed. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of the times, conversation is all about, and that's how we could better something. So I'm just assuming his mother, like I said, his mother's white, his father's black. His father went away. Then she sent him up for adoption. He got adopted by two white parents. Had two white siblings that was a different mother and father, and he basically went to, I think he went to like a all white school or something. Who knows? I mean, and then I said, okay, it probably was, that's probably where he built his identity, or built his morals, or what he believed in. You know what I'm saying? Based off of the environment that he grew up under. That was my assumption in the beginning. That based off me reading who he was, where he was born, what his lifestyle. So I said, okay, let me go with that, and come to find out, it's more like he took a knee. I think I was assuming that he took a knee in the beginning, like when that's something that he did. He started off doing, So I was like, okay, that makes sense. You understand, for inequality is something you do probably in the beginning or something, or you could stay seated, because I heard he was seated first, and then the veteran told him to take a knee. But then I also found out that he wasn't doing that in the beginning. In the beginning, I think he was putting his, like he was doing like all the regular teammates do it, putting his hand on his chest, national anthem and everything. So when I found that out, I kind of say, that's kind of weird. I mean, not weird, but it's kind of suspicious to me. So I wanted to understand it more. And with that being said, I was curious to find out when he started doing that, Then I said, okay, this makes sense now, because Donald Trump made a statement. He said something like, he said something like, I don't take what I said word for word, but he said something along these lines of, everybody that doesn't, any NFL player that doesn't praise the football, not praise, but doesn't respect the national anthem should be fired by the owners, or something like that. So I said that. I said, okay, that makes sense. That might be, because that speech came along, and then Kaepernick resignation from the NFL. So then I was thinking, okay, the owners probably forced him to retire or whatever, not retire, but to opt out. He opted out of his I think 2016 year he opted out. No, 2017 year he opted out, and Trump made that speech in September 2016, I believe, something like that, I believe. So with that being said, I was like, okay, that makes sense now. Now I'm looking at it like the owners probably forced him to opt out, and he didn't play since 2017. So, he tried to file a lawsuit. He won, actually. He won a settlement in a lawsuit, basically staying injustice within the NFL. And it came to a settlement, though, a settlement to me, I'm just freestyling, but it's similar. I'm not going to say exactly like, but it's similar in civil law. It's similar to a plea bargaining to me, because in a plea bargaining, most people take pleas because the chances of them getting convicted outweighs the chances of them being the case or taking it to trial, So in a civil lawsuit now, the chances of winning the lawsuit outweighs the chances And I mean, it's a possibility that they can't lose the lawsuit. So they come to a settlement because it's a certain amount of money on the table and it's doable and it's not worth taking a chance of having the other side win the case and you don't get nothing at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my story behind that. So what I feel now is he took the money, and in the Jay-Z press conference, a lot of people asked Jay-Z, like, hey, so what we gonna do about, like, are you thinking about hiring Kaepernick, or are you thinking about letting him be a part of this conference and explaining the injustice that's going on in America? And Jay-Z was like, yo, I'm not too sure of what he meant. Like, the way I interpreted what he was saying was like, we're not talking about, with all respect, we're not talking about Kaepernick right now. We're focused on injustice within the African American community, or injustice in general. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Kaepernick wasn't fighting to get his job. He was fighting based on what everybody else is saying and based off what he knows. He is fighting for injustice based on police brutality and etc. So that's what he was all about. That's what he was trying to fix. That's what Jay-Z was trying to fix. So I got a lot of stuff popping up on my phone. So yeah, he said, yo, the situation is not about Kaepernick getting the job. We know he was in the room. We know what the situation is about, right, people? The situation is about inequality within the African American community, within whatever. It's about inequality. That's what it's about. And then I kind of looked it up and I said, okay, let me look up more Kaepernick. I was going back and forth from video to video, and I seen something like, I think I read an article saying that Kaepernick, when he decided, he didn't take a knee in the beginning, he just started taking the knee, but the knee came from him taking the knee came from when he realized that he wasn't starting. He wasn't starting. So I feel in my mind, I feel that he was more upset with the fact of him not starting, opposed to what he's tried to make it be, what he tried to make it seem like. Because when the media takes something and runs with it, that's what you might have to stand on in most of the cases, and that's what I believe happened. So Kaepernick basically took the stand of, okay, inequality, but in all actuality, he was really mad at the way the NFL benched him and said, yo, you're not starting no more. We're gonna put you on the bench, XYZ, and that's what I'm hearing, and that's what makes the most sense to me, being that Kaepernick didn't in the beginning. He wasn't taking a knee in the beginning. He wasn't not even taking a knee, because a veteran introduced him, told him to take a knee. He wasn't sitting down. In the beginning, he wasn't sitting down. So that's like, all of a sudden, I'm putting two and two together. I'm a realist, and I put two and two together sometimes, and I say, yo, you're going to do it all of a sudden based off you're not starting no more, and you're coming off the bench, and you're angry. That's what I feel. Yeah, that was my take on it. And Jay-Z, and a lot of people are probably like, hey, but you're Jay-Z. Remember Jay-Z? He's switching sides on Kaepernick, because in the beginning, Jay-Z was with Kaepernick. He wore Kaepernick jerseys. He said nobody should perform at the Super Bowl, XYZ. That's what a lot of people, an argument might be to that. But we got to look at it as a whole. We got to look at the situation as a whole. And like I said in the beginning, dialogue is how change comes about. It's what resolves disputes, and dispute resolution is all about, you know. And I feel, you know, I went to school for criminal justice, and my minor was dispute resolution, coincidentally. And I know that conversation to get you a long way. You might not have, like, I'm gonna use something out of this don't have nothing to do with the topic, but think about the Joyner Lucas video, I'm Not Racist. You have to come to an understanding of a person. Like, if you haven't yet, look at that video, and it's more like they came to an understanding of each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like Jay-Z and the commissioner did. You know, Jay-Z, who knows? And think about it. Jay-Z said, not Jay-Z, what's Kaepernick's girlfriend said that they never spoke. Jay-Z and Kaepernick never spoke. So, with that being said, there was no kind of communication after Jay-Z made that partnership with the NFL. You know, so it's like the communication was broken. There was no dialogue in between them, and you know, Jay-Z probably could have been trying to find out what's going on. Who knows? And he probably didn't even want to speak to Kaepernick. Who knows? I don't know the whole situation with that. But at the end of the day, dialogue is what makes communication go forward. So Jay-Z had a communication with the commissioner. They had dialogue, and they came to an understanding. And he's probably really found out what Kaepernick, the reason behind why Kaepernick did what he did, and he took that as like, okay, that's what they had, a conversation, they had a relationship, and they came to an understanding based on the conversation that they had, that is bigger than Kaepernick. It's more about injustice. Let's focus on injustice right now, because who knows, Kaepernick may have seemed shaky all of a sudden in Jay-Z's eyes. Nobody knows the true story of everything, but you got to put everything together and understand that just because I believe and I go with you in the beginning doesn't mean I have to go with you in the end, you know. So, you know, that's another situation. That's something I wanted to speak about, and that's my intake on the Kaepernick, Jay-Z situation. All right, y'all.